Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm in another one of those places that I never thought I'd be. And on the fields that you see, well, over here and over there and over there and over there, would have been swarmed with Native Americans. And their goal would to be go up the very hill that I'm going up. The date would be the 25th of June, 1876. And it is the Battle of the Little Bighorn. So the hill that I'm on right now is known as the Last Stand Hill. And like I said, to sit there and say that all the natives were coming from this one direction, very much like you can be at Gettysburg, you know, just to give you an idea that it is basically everywhere and all around us, is, uncharacteristically crazy, because in warfare you have a side, you have an advance, you might have a flanking, but one of the veterans, the native veterans of the battle, actually said that it was like water going around a rock in the middle of a stream. It was everywhere. It was swarmed everywhere. So again, another one of those places I never thought I'd be, yet here I am. And several people watching. Hannah Ross, I see you watching. I'm trying to outdo you on your Western tour. You and my cousin George and Jennifer and my friend Cricket. So before I turn the camera around, I want to come here in memory of a friend of mine named Brian Pahenka, who, in addition to be very close to Civil War history, was extremely close to the history of this place as well. Had made many trips out here on the anniversary of the battle. And so his widow keeps it up. And so Cricket, this is for you, and this is for Brian. So that being said, I will turn the camera around. And there is Last Stand Hill. And that is where we're going to be heading here first on our trip to go up and around the battle. So inside here are the graves of several individuals. Now, Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer, not a general, Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer, was killed here and was originally interred here, but then he was reinterred at West Point, New York, at the military academy. So he is not here. And this being the very first time that I'm here, I'm looking for the marker where he fell. And again, you just see how open this land is. It's crazy. And then the grass that is everywhere. There are trees. It seems the higher you go, the less trees in Montana. Montana is also a place that I very much wanted to go. And there, if I'm not mistaken, yes, kind of very difficult to see, but out there with the Black Shield, which is right there, is the spot where he fell. So from my readings and past readings of it, the natives were not very kind to the remains of Colonel Custer. And, well, they shouldn't have been either. Custer was egotistical, and, he was a problem child. During the Civil War, it was fantastic because he liked to disobey a lot of orders, one of which would have been at the Battle of Gettysburg, where, he knew that Stuart was out there, and he was told to guard the reserves, but he didn't, and thank goodness he didn't. He went out and he found Jeb Stuart, but he wanted himself some glory, a little bit of wind here knocking this thing around. But this is Last Stand Hill, and so you can see there, and I'm gonna spin this thing around again. God almighty, my eyes, they suck. They suck. Spinning it around. And so, I don't know if you can see it or not. There you can see where Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer fell. And you can see the, you know what? Maybe some of the people are buried here. Some of them fell here and have been moved. Again, I have to read a lot of this stuff, and maybe somebody back there can help me out if they're doing some research and stuff like that. You can type it on here, so that way anybody watching can get some information as well. that is looking towards the town of, believe it or not, Gary Owen, which is Custer's favorite song. And this pan here just gives you an idea of just how wide open the property here is. Not just the battlefield, but just the wide expanse of land that is Montana. And then here is the memorial to the men who fell here on the American side. Now, again, I wouldn't know anything about the about the changes here. I do remember being younger, and this was called the Custer National Battlefield. And now it's the Little Bighorn National Monument. I do know that there is a Native presence here at the Visitor Center. There's a National Park Service that has a counter, and then the Native Americans share the same counter with information on the battles that took place very close to here, and which I plan on checking out. Looks like they get the proceeds from the Visitor Center. At least that's what it seems. And then you can also take independent tours of the reservation and the battlefield. I want to say it takes place over there. It's kind of hard to see. I'm getting some comments that are coming in, and again, a little breezy up here, and it's hard for me to see. So please forgive me if I can't read one of your questions that are on here. But over in this area here, again, just gives you more of the landscape. See how, again, wide open it is. And then that's US Route 212. That's how I came in, coming in from Busby or Bisbee. And a lot of very interesting little towns along that road there. It's a 2-lane road, 70 mile an hour, and it's pretty cool. So you can actually take tours of the Crow Indian Reservation, which is off in this direction. Now Reno and Benteen are down there. You see where that tour bus is, and that's just stopped to let people out. But there's a road there. There's a park road that goes all the way down 5 miles away to the Reno and Benteen. But right here is Wooden Leg Hill. And one of the effects of the battle here, and a lot of people don't necessarily know this, is really as crazy as it sounds. Custer was really loved by many of the Americans. He was a hero of the American Civil War. So when he dies, and sorry about that, kind of mighty. When he gets killed during this battle, what a lot of people don't realize is what's coming up is the centennial celebration of the United States, July 4th, 1876. So a lot of big celebrations are planned all over the country. And all of a sudden, of course, this happens on Sunday, the 25th of June, just a couple weeks before the 4th of July. And all of a sudden word comes around that the beloved son has been killed by the savage Indians out west. So there's almost like a wet blanket on some of the celebrations, and some of the celebrations for the centennial almost turn out to be quasi-memorial services by each town. I don't want to compare it to Aretha Franklin or social media, but it's kind of like what's happened with that. There's a big debate. Is like people don't know who Aretha Franklin is, so why do they post or feel the need to post it on their social media? And they don't know her. If they saw her, they may have taken a picture of her at the back end of a concert somewhere, and then they post it on Facebook. Hey, I do the same thing too. I think we all do, because we feel a connection. Well, back then they didn't have social media, so it was very much the same thing. They didn't know George Armstrong Custer. They didn't know really the gist of what his mission had been. They don't know what he was like, what his personality was like, yet he was gone. And he was a hero. Sorry about that. That was overheating. Anyways, but I was able to learn some cool stuff, and I'll talk until I overheat again. The monument behind me is actually where many of the men are buried. So the monuments down there, like the little headstones, are where they fell. But right around the base of this monument is basically where a lot of those people are buried. Another little interesting thing here, this road, and I'm going to show you this road here, if my thing works. Okay. This road here, they dug this trench up in the 40s. And during the battle, they had piled up a lot of the dead horses as almost like a breastwork. And so they started finding all these horses. Now they knew that they were here. It wasn't a big surprise. But they were able to find all the remains of these horses. And so what they did was this little white marker over here, which I don't know if you could see or not, but we're going to go over and check it out. Believe it or not, it's a marker to all the horses that were interred during the battle. So, anyways, I don't know, maybe. And so you see where the marker is in the distance, and then you see the marker here, right in front of you. So anyways, low network connectivity. Yeah, probably not a lot of signal when I get away from the visitor center. So I'm going to go back to the visitor center, or back to the area of the visitor center. And this is again looking over Last Ant Hill. It's kind of hard for me to see the warnings that are coming up. So I do apologize for that. Still trying to work on this technology here. And let's see if I lose my little orange bead. Maybe not. Is it still there? Yeah. Some might be lagging. I know Dave Beloga, Steve Hain, you were saying that it was lagging, so I apologize. But I'm going to move on towards the Benteen Monument, the Reno Benteen Monument. And, there you see down below is the Visitor Center and the National Cemetery. So it's really, really cool to be here. Really, really, really cool. Goes along the lines of, again, another one of those places I never thought I'd be. And it's hot in here. I don't want to hear that dry heat crap. Another thing that if you come here that you're going to notice all around are little stones, either the red stones, which are the ones for the native warriors that fought and died here, or the white stones that are, the ones that you're very familiar with. They mark where they found different bodies and actually reinterred some of the bodies. So all around the battlefield, you'll see like these little stones everywhere. Let me see if I turn it around. And that's over towards that native monument and then the visitor center. Right about in this area here, you might see these two little, they look like teeth sticking up. And those are those stones. That just marks where they found remains. And I'm going to go check out, if they have names on them. I doubt that they do. But way down there in that valley that you see down there, the same thing, you'll see that winding little road go through. And right down around there, it looks like a lot of dotted little white stones. So